Ladies and gentlemen, before we start our forum and in order to avoid any disturbance, I would like to ask everyone here to change the mode of your gadget into silent. Your cooperation is very much appreciated. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. I am Muhammad Afiq bin Alauddin. I will be your moderator today. I would like to welcome you all to forum about those internet give more advantage rather than disadvantage. Before I start this discussion, let me explain a little bit about the topic. The internet is a communication system that conveys information around the world and can be obtained through computer, laptop, telephone, and so on. In today's modern world, the world is racing to learn and have their own internet line at home. Through the internet, we can receive information quickly. In other words, everything in our finger. Today, it can be used as a very helpful tool in changing a person's life, but at the same time, cause such conflict which can negatively impact a person. It offers a lot of advantage, but if used incorrectly, it also has disadvantage. While the internet has its drawback, the benefit of global communication has strengthened the globe and made it a better place to live. On this occasion, we have invited eminent panelists who I believe will enrich our view and knowledge on the topic. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce the panelists. Our first panelist is Mrs. Nur Tahira. She is a Ministry of Education. Our second panelist, Ms. Nur Atira, who is working as a lecturer of University Putra Malaysia. Then Ms. Anis Elisa, who is also working as a lecturer at University Malaya. Our last panel is Mrs. Nurul Najwani, who is principal of Sekolah Menengah Sains Tunku Munawir. Thank you for spending your precious time attending our talk today. So I was honored to welcome all our panelists as we value your presence here to further discuss on today's talks. Without further ado, we will start with the first question. Okay, Mrs. Tahira, what do you think about the internet nowadays? Does it give us more advantage or disadvantage? If other panel have an opinion, they can speak up.
Assalamualaikum and very good evening to all. First of all, a big thank you to our moderator, Mr. Afiq, for introducing the topic and all panelists. In my opinion, internet gives more advantage rather than disadvantage because internet help improve academic research and learning. According to Abu Alindo 2018, a statement from Dr. Ishaq Hussain, Associate Professor from the Department of Education, the utilization of the internet in higher education has enhanced education development and research as well as stimulate richer interaction in sharing research findings. In this case, we can say that the most benefit group is the student. This is because internet help widen the scope of reading and learning for students and enable them to carry out research in advance using online material such as e-book and e-journal. This can be proved through a study carried out by Apu, who is a lecturer from Department of Mass Communication, and Lido, assistant professor from Department of Architecture, on university student using of the internet resource for research and learning, form of access and perception of utility. This study has been conducted on 250 students selected from 3 universities in northeastern Nigeria. This result of the study showed that 84% the respondents are confident that the internet has been very helpful and it will continue to improve their academic research and learning. That's all from me. Thank you.
Yes, I agree with you, Mrs. Tahira, and I cannot deny the internet can improve academic research and learning, especially for students. But from internet also, it actually can increase plagiarism issue among them. Based on a study conducted by MedCap 2005, it was found that most of the students copy nearly words to word from sources. He notes that many high school students believe that if information is on internet, it is public knowledge and does not need to be footnote. Means that this high school student claim and believe if they get information on internet, it is a public knowledge which actually leads to plagiarism issue. The reason why I'm saying that internet is cause of plagiarism issue because of Ford Dictionary of Education 2015 state that Plagiarism is due to the advance in technology and the easy availability of internet access, which allow dishonest minority of students to cut and paste text from unacknowledged sources and incorporate it into their own work. So here I want to highlight at word easy availability of internet access, which I think this is the disadvantage of internet to students, especially in academic research. That's all. Thank you.
I am glad to hear your opinion, Miss Anis. Yes, it is true that plagiarism is a normal subject in our society, especially among students. However, in my opinion, this matter is no longer a big issue. Why? Because nowadays there is a lot of plagiarism checker being introduced and used by education institutions such as Turnitin. For your information, plagiarism checker can be considered as one of advantage of internet in the education sector. According to Ibrahim and Mohammad Yassin, who is the Director of Academic and Quality Assurance of Kasha Technician Institution, the use of plagiarism checker will reduce the integrity issue as it prevents students from committing plagiarism as well as leave a significant impact on their writing. They also reported that students can learn about the ethical issue of dishonest through an originality report that is generated by Turnitin. A city is in Laura Zaman State and Natila Zaman 2011. Besides instead of planning the advance of technology or easy access to the internet, I think we should plan to study more. This is because they choose to cheat even though they know that action is wrong due to lack of
Alright,
knowledge.
thank you very much to Mrs. Tahira and Miss Nur Anis. So based on our two panelists, they said that the internet had a positive impact on academic performance by writing research paper feature help in doing better research and provide a better learning experience. While the internet has improved academic research and learning, it still has its disadvantage, which is plagiarism. That's mean copy someone else's idea or work and pretended that you thought of it or create it. We can see that there are different opinions between our two panelists. I wish to ask the next question to Miss Nur Atira. Based on what Mrs. Tahira and Miss Anis has just said, what is your point of view regarding this as a lecturer?
Okay, Assalamualaikum and thank you to our moderator, Mrs. Tahira and Miss Anis. I am from ProperNet site. Will pinpoint another topic from my view of advantages of the internet, where the internet helps spreading the genuine in latest information about COVID-19 to the citizens of the country that encounter this pandemic. According to a recent study carried out by Neha Puri from Department of Medicine, state that intensive global effort for physical distancing and isolation to curb the spread of SARS-CoV-2 may intensify the use of social media as individuals try to remain connected while apart. Again, to the usage of internet, it will display more aids, especially for the public to search and information as social media. User will interact and share with others through multiple platforms about how to avoid COVID-19. Okay, based on the data reported by Jones Junam Chuen Bertazar from Medicine School of Mexico, the cases are changing daily, can be tracked worldwide in almost real time by different websites like the one supported by Johns Hopkins University. They research more information about prevention on this pandemic disease with internet-based application rather than consult and peers through qualified medical experts like the doctors, as it will cost the public their precious time and money. It also difficult as they need to get permission from the police to get out from their home during PKP. I hope this message delivered from me just in sound as crystal clear about this benefit. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Atira, for addressing your personal thought on this topic. So, Mrs. Najoni, would you like to share with us, do you agree with what Ms. Atira said just now?
Thank you, our moderator and all panelists. I understand what your point just now, Ms. Atira, but thus it can be strong evidence to support your idea. We face the challenge of the overabundance of information related to the virus available in the internet about COVID-19, and most of them is misinformation that being spread to cause panic among citizens of the country that face this pandemic. A recent study carried out by Neha Puri from Department of Medicine stated that misinformation rumor regarding the COVID-19 and potential vaccination against SARS-CoV-2 have already begun, emerging on social media platforms, threatening the public confidence well before the release of an effective vaccine. Based on the research paper by Jose Yunam Chan Baltazar from Medicine School of Mexico, state in his article that in Munich Security Conference that occurred on February 15, 2020, the General Director of World Health Organization, WHO, comment, we are not just fighting an epidemic, we are fighting an infodemic.
Excuse me, Mrs. Najwani. Sorry to interrupt. Yes, I accept with your point that there are a lot of fake information before, but nowadays there are much more accurate information available in the internet. We have confronted this pandemic for around a year now, and more genuine information being accessible in the internet about the pandemic in contrast to early of the virus outbreak. I read an article by Neha Puri state that there have been guidance produced by a first draft on how the public and journalists can handle misinformation as it pertains to COVID-19. In the recent research by Neha Puri, state in her article that the most used platform to share information, Twitter already implementing tools to label tweets as containing misleading information, provide linkage to validate sources of information, and to remove such tweet with a high propensity for harm. This is what I desire to stand my statement.
Thank you, both of you. Wow, the topic of our discussion today is getting really intriguing. Ms. Atira stated that the internet provides an advantage because people can find out information and current situation about COVID-19 through the internet. However, Mrs. Najwani disagreed and stated that there were various fake news released through the internet. Next, Ms. Atira emphasized that the internet has a lot of news and information that is much more reliable. Therefore, to prevent from the fake news, we should read and look for the legal website or article. Next, I have a question to ask the lecturer of University Malaya. Perhaps we could hear from Ms. Anis Elisa as a lecturer. What is your perspective on the internet?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I am from opponent's side. I still on my stand that I would say internet actually give more disadvantage rather than advantage. Internet nowadays have become a medium for pedophile, and people would like to watch pornography to release their lust. The world's most popular porn site, Pornhub, published a truth of site which actually estimate that 3 to 4 people out of every 10 Malaysians browse pornography or pornographic site in a timely manner, and from the statistic, the women of this country are said to be ahead of the men. We know that last year I can say that around the world was hit by the pandemic COVID-19 crisis, and our country Malaysia also affected from this crisis. Our government has taken measure by announcing movement control order which all the people needs to stay at home. Unexpectedly, during this period, some Malaysians use this time to search pornography in the home. Unexpectedly, during this period, some Malaysians use this time to search pornography in the internet, which leads increase to 84% of pornographic search. Data really show that Malaysia is in the top 4 countries in the world during Slovakia, Bulgaria and Ireland, as well as the first in Asia to search for pornographic material or video. Pertubuhan Ikram Malaysia Datin Paduka Syed Asma Ibrahim said the internet does facilitate the sharing of information but will be reinforcement if abused by certain parties including pedophiles. According to her, children will also be vulnerable to sexual activity if the use of the internet is not fully controlled by parents. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anis, for an informative argument. This argument shows that the internet may have negative effect on us as well. The government must treat such matters seriously in order to prevent them from getting worse and to take action to stop them. Do you agree, Mrs. Tahira, that the internet will increase the pornography and pedophile issue?
Thank you again to our moderator. I am sorry, Miss Anis. I think I have to disagree with your statement that internet will increase pornography and pedophilia issue. Today, especially in Malaysia, we can see that our government have taken a measure by blocking pornographic website. According to Deputy Communication and Multimedia Minister, Datuk Zahidi Zainul Abidin, from 2018 until June 2020, the Malaysia Communication and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) has blocked about 2,484 pornography sites in total. He also said the MCMC will continue to monitor and take action based on complaints they receive. As mentioned by Dr. Siti Zuriani Othman, Senior Lecturer at University Sains Islam Malaysia, parents and school must teach children healthy social media habits and show them how to use it to benefit others instead of blaming the technology. From the statement, it showed that the increase in pornography and pedophilia issue is not due to the internet, but more mission of the medium by the individual or public. This is in line with claim made by Dr. Wan Fazilah through the Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia KKM portal, where she defined pornography addiction is due to the overuse and abuse of pornographic content.
Yes, Mrs. Nostahira, it is true that government has taken a measure by blocking pornography website. But for me, actually, this measure can stop for pedophile and people who like to watch pornography to stop doing this dirty job. According to Paul Biscoff, test writer, privacy advocate and VPN expert, he said that the different countries view pornography differently and some do censor it on the internet. Yes, in Malaysia, our government has blocking the pornography website. But actually, for these people who are already addicted to watch pornography, they are cleverer than what we expect. For the sake of searching pornography website, they have used trick and deception by using Virtual Protected Network (VPN) to access porn. I know government in some countries censor VPNs too, but how about another country that can freely use VPN to search this porn site? Even though VPNs are technically blocked, some do still work in both China and Russia. This is the same with porn website. Many porn websites will create mirror sites to give access to people in restricted country. Amy Odrisco, who is a VPN and cyber security expert, she gave an example by saying that the use of VPNs in Argentina is legal and a good range of VPNs offered to Argentinian server, while there have been proposed laws to allow online censorship. These have yet to come into place, and for me, it is not fair to say that this pornography and pedophilia issue is individual problem, but this actually happened because from internet which content and give permission for irresponsible people to upload unbeneficial content related to pornography. Thank you.
That is very interesting coming from all the panelists. Thank you very much. Pornography may be presented in a variety of ways. Internet pornography is the most highly read, most viewed, and highly demanded in all the way presenting pornography to the world. We can see from what Mrs. Tahira said that this issue can be avoided because the government already blocked all the negative websites. Then they will take action of it. Unfortunately, we shall come to the end of our discussion in a couple of minutes. However, before we get to its end, Mrs. Nurul Najoni, do you still think that the internet gives more disadvantage?
Thank you, Mr. Afiq, our moderator. So I am from the opinion side. Will stand with my point of the view, which is a negative social psychology effect among the adolescents due to internet. Kids can easily get affected from what they see and experience, and nowadays there are a lot of material in the internet that secretly promote violence, such as violent video games. For example, player on a battleground and God of War, adults may think that is not a big issue that they can filter what is good and a bad behavior, but not to kids, as they will getting addicted to violent behavior that they see from the medium and use it in real life. Recent survey by Data Paul Attaway, professor of CUNY Graduate Center, New York, as cited by Rosanna Cerita from Department Psychiatrist, University Hospital of Sekolah Lasih, in her article show the effect of increased use of the internet. The most concerned are the finding that playing violent computer game may increase aggressiveness and desensitizes these children to suffering, and that the use of computer may blur a child's ability to distinguish real life from simulation. Kids cannot different the real life and simulation and just do what they used to do in simulation game real into reality life like aggressive acts such as beat their colleagues at school. Internet will be hidden sources of bullying case among adolescents. Kids also might be dangerous acts such as playing with knife when they think they still can be revived, like simulation in game that they play. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Najani. Based on Mrs. Najani's point, we can see that the growing number of research on internet addiction indicate that the internet addiction is a physiological disorder and its characteristic are tolerance, withdrawal symptom, affective disorder, and problem in social relation. Internet usage create physiological, social, school, and work difficulty in a person's life. So, anyone would like to add something before we end today's talk? Maybe Ms. Atira has something to say.
Okay, thank you to Mr. Afiq, our moderator. And Ms. Najani, yes, I understand your point, which the evidence you mentioned quite sound valid. But we cannot deny that the fact the internet also gives positive effect in physiology and sociology, such as reduced depression among adolescents. In fact, adolescents can reduce depression by always stay connected with their beloved one who will care about them even stay far away through the use of internet. It's already proven by Kaveri Surabhayam, as cited by Linda A. Jackson, state that based on the recent research on effect of internet in sociology among adolescents, the internet facilitates communication with geographically among adolescents with distant family and friends, and it's made easier to communicate frequently with those who nearby. Another study identified by Robert E. Kraut, as cited by Linda A. Jackson, expressed that the physiology effect faded with the internet experience. Thank you so much for sincerely giving your attention and fascinate with my judgment for today.
Sorry, pardon me my disturbance, Ms. Nur Atira. Yes, I agree with your opinion, but they still have a lot of proof that stay in the internet give negative effect in social psychologies among adolescents. Adolescents tend to separate themselves from joining community and spend more of the time in front of computer. Then, adolescents who used to stay away from friends in the same age as they don't want to separate with their gadget to surf internet, such as playing online game and using social media application, will also be unable to communicate and blend well with others, and then will get more depression. From research carried out by Rosanna Chirita and her colleagues from Department of Psychiatry, University Hospital of Sekolah Lassi, results show a high tendency of students to spend more time alone with their computer, giving up their social or family duty. According to the Robert E. Kraut, as cited by Linda A. Jackson, also state that the study showed the adverse psychological effect of internet use for teens, such as greater loneliness and depression with greater internet use. That's all from me. Thank you.
Yes, I agree with all of you that sometimes internet have a positive effect and also have negative effect. So it just follow the way how we use it, either for a good or bad, because it depends on ourselves. Thank you so much, and last but not least, Miss Anis and Mrs. Najani, please give your conclusion.
Yes, Mr. Afiq, let me speak first. So what I want to conclude from this forum is internet can have negative impact on both mental and physical health for us, especially for kids. So here, parents must take action from this case to ensure that while they provide internet access to their children, they must keep a check on their users. There are some ways to block the site that are not suitable for the kids. However, parents usually take this aspect lightly or simply procrastinate when it's come to barring such sites. This is wrong. Parents must make it priority to bar such site and monitor their children's internet activity to ensure they use this platform only for goods. That's all from me. Thank you.
Yes, I agree with Miss Anis. And in my opinion, there are many disadvantages when using the internet. Misinformation and violent promotion are two of them. However, there are still a lot of negative things on the internet. So that we need to be careful while using the internet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can you guys give conclusion based on the topic that we discussed, Mrs. Tahira and Ms. Atira?
Thank you, Mr. Afiq. What I can conclude based on this discussion is internet gives a benefit to people because every day the internet continues to provide a new facility, sometimes new that is immensely convenient and that make life easy for web users. Let us not point our finger at the internet for the very few negative aspects that come with the package. Instead, we should make full use of the internet to benefit mankind. Last, I want to say thank you for giving me to speak in this forum.
Yes, I agree with Mrs. Tahira. Well, I want to call attention to the fact that there are still a number of benefits to utilizing the internet in our country. It is a crucial tool for both students and the community. In addition to making it simpler for individuals to get information, as we can see, thanks to the internet, there is no longer any need for us to spend our time inquiring with other people about the news of the day and other related issues. Am I right? Okay, I believe that's all I have to say. Returning back to you, Mr. Moderator Afiq. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Tahira and Ms. Nur Atira on that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally come to its end. So, based on the speech from all the panel, we can see that it is proven that the use of the internet has its own advantage and disadvantage for everyone. The internet, which is the latest technological information, must be used properly so that no one gets the disadvantage of using it. We should maximize the use of the internet for important things only so as not to abuse the internet facility. All levels of society need to take responsibility for themselves by not allowing themselves to be trapped in the arena of self-destruction as a result of being victim of social and intellectual destruction through the uncontrolled use of the internet. The consequence of excessive use of the internet, which has become the lifestyle of today's teenagers, not only have a negative impact on themselves, but also on society and the country. Therefore, we must be smart and disciplined internet user and take full advantage of the use of the internet to become someone who is more knowledgeable and holistic in the field of technology, communication, and academic. Let's not let the internet control our life. Instead, we have to control it. So, that's all from me. We would like to say thanks again for all the panelists for the informative talk and to audience for your participation. Hopefully, the discussion will be beneficial for everyone. Thank you for your attention, everyone. Assalamualaikum and goodbye.